I am 19, become insanely jealous for no reason. From my point of view, my current relationship with my girlfriend F19 is perfect. I am really very happy, especially because my last girlfriend took advantage of me and cheated on me several times. I only have one problem: I always get jealous for no reason. She could only talk to a work colleague and I get jealous already. Or I get jealous about her ex-boyfriend. She has no contact with him anymore, but when I imagine what they did together I get jealous again. Try not to show this because I know that it is not normal and it is my fault that I feel that way. She hasn't done anything wrong. I do not know where to start with my problem. I know that I overreact, but there is nothing I can do about it. I always feel so damn bad. Sometimes I feel like I have to throw up. I just want that feeling to go away and I want to be happy with her. Does anyone have any advice for me? P.S. I know her now for almost half a year. Too long, didn't read. I get jealous for no reason and I hate this feeling so much. I just want it to go away. I know exactly how you feel, Op. If you've been cheated on in the past, it is completely normal to feel that way. However, you do not want those previous failed relationships to ruin your current relationship. I've learned it the hard way and lost some good boyfriends because I was letting my jealousy get the best of me. Accept that you are jealous, no need to hide it or deny it. Keep your mind busy and try to be positive and give your current relationship the benefit of the doubt. Your past relationships hurt you, not this one. You would definitely benefit from therapy, but this sub has a nasty habit of saying go to therapy and then concluding the advice there. So my 2 cents, definitely do therapy. But in the meantime, I recommend looking up ways to handle anger. Healthily sorting through most negative emotions works the same way. There's just a lot out there for anger. When you feel jealous, stop and acknowledge that you're jealous. Pinpoint exactly what caused it. Accept that in this moment, you're jealous and that's what you're feeling. Then, acknowledge why. Is your girlfriend actually doing anything to merit this reaction? Or is it entirely tied back to the trauma of your ex breaking your trust? Really chew that over. Always give your girlfriend the benefit of the doubt first. You seem to know that these reactions aren't actually over anything she's doing, and hold on to that rationality. And once you've acknowledged all these things, take a deep breath, meditate for a minute if you need to, take a step back, and then do your best to let it go. You've made your decision, and you are capable of sticking to it. And can I just say, this internet stranger is incredibly proud of you for being the kind of person who notices this about themselves so early and makes an effort to never put the negativity on their loved one. That's hard. And if she hasn't noticed when you get jealous, you should be so proud for making sure you cope without lashing out and shifting blame. When you go to therapy, sit her down and tell her why so that she can be aware that this is something you're working through. If she's a good girlfriend, I'm sure she'll be proud of you too. I know that I overreact, but there is nothing I can do about it. That isn't true. Maybe you can't control your emotions, but you absolutely can control your reactions to them and your actions in general, and you can always seek professional help. It seems like all these issues surfaced when you got cheated on, and honestly, it's completely plausible. I don't know why a guy here went on a tirade about not being controlling and all that shit when it seems to me you're just struggling because of something bad and need time to cope. Honestly, just breathe. The betrayal from your ex is still fresh and most probably these feelings will disappear within a reasonable amount of time. Thanks for your kind words, smile. I hope so too. I really don't want to lose her. This definitely sounds like you have trauma from your past relationship. You're not a bad person, it isn't your fault. This isn't overreacting, this is your fight or flight response kicking into high gear because of traumatic experiences in past relationships. In addition to a counselor to help diffuse these feelings and find the why, I'd encourage an open dialogue with your girlfriend about how you feel. Tell her that you have these worries and are working through them, because you know they are harmful, especially to your own perception of the relationship. That way if anything ever slips out, or you seem off/anxious, she'll understand you're not angry with her or keeping anything from her and she can help you. Smile. I bet some support or reassurance from her would do some good. Hearing affirmations from a partner can be very healing. How do I, 33F, explain self-care to my husband, 35 meters? My husband and I have been married for 4 years and have a baby on the way. No problems with the relationship. We usually communicate well and take care of each other. The issue now is, my husband has no notion of self-care. Now he isn't a masculine man's man who thinks you need to suck it up and keep going. But he thinks he's superhuman and can and should face everything head on. We're fixing up a fixer-upper and he takes it as a personal insult that he isn't able to do all the things all by himself like he used to be able to do a decade ago. He strained his back trying to lift something heavy and is beating himself up about growing old and not being in good enough shape, which is preposterous, because he is in much better shape and strength than most men his age. He grumbles and goes to the doctor on my insistence, but follows exactly none of the instructions they give him. He won't rest more than a little. He won't apply ice as frequently as they tell him to. He feels like we're on limited time till the baby comes and it's his last chance to work his ass off on all his personal projects. He doesn't understand how to take rest. He has to be coding or digging dirt or gaming or playing board games or throwing a ball around. He cannot just unwind and do nothing. What's worse, the pandemic has decimated all his support structures. He doesn't see his soccer team anymore or his board game group much. Though he's just doubled down on getting the house fixed. We're contracting out the big stuff. It's just small stuff that we're doing ourselves, on work and his personal projects. I'm really truly worried about him because I'm going to be a huge mess once the baby comes. I'm already prone to depression and anxiety, so I'm almost expecting to deal with postpartum depression. But I have my group of friends and my mom's going to be around for support. I won't be able to insist on him taking care of himself like I do now because I'll have my own stuff going on, and I'll probably expect a lot of support from him. But he doesn't have much of a support structure and we haven't found very many books about fatherhood he's found helpful, as compared to the plethora of books about motherhood I've found to be a source of succor. It scares me that he's going to try and shoulder a lot of responsibility as a new parent, without much support and without his mind tuned to figuring out what he needs help with. Especially since we're going to be low on sleep. I manage fine with little sleep, but he's basically a zombie if he doesn't get at least 8 hours. He overdoes things physically and doesn't realize he needs help emotionally. I keep telling him he needs to make his own support structure and I can't do it for him. He won't take care of himself unless I insist. Even when he hurt his back, he wanted to spend the whole evening gaming. I made him lie down with an ice pack and binge on one of the few shows he can tolerate. He hates TV because it's too passive for him. TL Doctor, my husband has no concept of self-care. With a house that needs fixing and a baby on the way, there's plenty for him to overdo and I won't be in a state to insist he stop doing so much or share his burden. How do I get through to him on only taking on as much as he can, and asking for help with everything else, and taking some fucking rest? Are you sure that the projects he's undertaking aren't his version of self-care? Your husband sounds a lot like mine, and my definition of relaxing is nothing like his. He can't rest unless the list in his head is complete, and attempting to make him slow down before it's done is actively counterproductive as it just stresses him out more. Sounds like your hubby is pushing himself too hard, but maybe try to help by organizing and making space for him to do it his way. If he doesn't get as far as he wanted before baby arrives, then at least he can say he tried. With regard to the physical strain he's putting himself under, he needs to recover properly before straining himself more. Active recovery is very important to healing from injuries, and if he's a seasoned athlete he should know this. Not giving himself time to heal is self-sabotage and he needs to realize this. Maybe your preferred form of recharge, i.e., being completely stationary and watching a show, doesn't work for him. But there are other forms of physical recovery like cardio, yoga, calisthenics, stretches, etc. Convince him to commit to a recovery routine or better yet, have a sports physio convince him for you. He feels like we're on limited time till the baby comes and it's his last chance to work his ass off on all his personal projects. Hey, as a guy with 2 kids, I just want you to understand that he's correct here. I didn't have free time for myself until my kids could feed themselves, and even then, it was very little. My wife still gets mad at me if I work on even necessary things, like home repairs, or car maintenance, or yard work, because it takes away from time I could be spending with my kids. You might want to reassure him that you won't act this way. If he knows he'll still have some personal time after the baby is born, that will take a lot of the pressure off now. Your wife shouldn't be getting mad at you for doing necessary maintenance stuff, or even for taking reasonable time for yourself, so long as you're giving her time to herself too. Have you suggested he try therapy? Sometimes this sort of message coming from a third party is more likely to be received. It doesn't have to be couples counseling either. A therapist just for him could hopefully help him navigate all this. When the baby comes, you'll need to rightly focus on you. So I'll flip this back around. When you have your baby, will you be okay with things not getting done? With your husband not getting the self-care he needs? Will you put your own needs first to make sure you stay mentally healthy? Good luck! Exclamation mark. So, more than likely he does have a notion of self-care, he just may not realize it, and what he does is not what you typically consider care. You mentioned a couple things which stick out. One you seem to acknowledge is good for his mental health, the others you seem to discount as busy activity. By your own words, for you self-care is to unwind and do nothing. But that's not how all people work. I'm a lot more like your husband. Sitting around watching TV does not help me relax. It's boring and I just wind up wishing I was doing something else. That's the opposite of self-care. You mentioned soccer. You mentioned board games, or gaming, video games I presume, or throwing the ball around. To you this is just stuff he's filling dead time with, but for him this likely is unwinding and relaxing. You're approaching self-care in the way you see it, not asking him how it might work for him. My 25F boyfriend, 26M, hit on my best friend. So, I don't know where to start. I'm kind of in shock because this is the most ridiculous thing to ever happen to me. My best friend, who I've known for years and at this point is pretty much my only friend, spent the night a week ago. She does this often, we hang out a lot and the 3 of us are all really good friends. Now she is very curvy and has large breasts, but I don't force her to wear a bra in my home where she is like my family. I would never think of it, and as a grown man my boyfriend should respect her as a human being. Well, when she spent the night my boyfriend woke up early, snuck away to have coffee with her in the kitchen. I wake up later, join them and everything is fine. Fast forward a week later, I'm with my friend and he drops the bombshell on me that while I was sleeping he asked her if he could see her breasts. She obviously said no. He even should have known she would have. He apparently apologized to her profusely. I confronted him and he admitted to it and that he was never planning on telling me. I've had worries that he found her attractive because of little comments here and there. I even told him how I didn't know if I wanted him here while I see her, but he reassured me over and over again only for this to happen. We've been together for 5 years, we live together. I don't even know what to do now. I just feel like I was made a fool of. His excuse? His mom has terminal cancer. But as rude as it is to say, that's in no way an excuse. I just don't know. Do I tell him to get therapy? Do we go to couples therapy? Do I just let this giant dump on my life destroy everything? Question mark. TLDR, my boyfriend asked my friend to see her boobs.